At 82, I've learned a lot about life. But there is one decision I deeply regret: moving into a nursing home. At the time, it seemed like the right choice. My family encouraged it, promising I'd have all the care and comfort I needed. I believed them, but the reality was nothing like what I had imagined. I know many of you might be considering this option for yourself or for a loved one. Perhaps you've been told it will make life easier. Before you take that step, I want to share 6 things I wish someone had told me. Yeah, please note, this is my personal story. Every situation is different, and for some, the level of care in a nursing home is necessary and beneficial. My hope is to share my perspective to help you ask the important questions before making a life-altering decision. Because the truth is, life in a nursing home changes everything. If this video was valuable to you, please give it a like and subscribe to the channel. 1. The loss of daily independence. The loss of daily independence. The biggest shock was not the small room or the set meal times. It was the sudden realization that I had lost control over my own life. At home, I had my routines. I decided when to wake up, what to eat, and how to spend my day. I could take a walk whenever I wanted. But inside the nursing home, my time was no longer my own. Everything ran on a schedule that wasn't mine. Breakfast was at 8 a.m., whether I was hungry or not. Lights out was at a set hour, whether I was tired or not. Simple decisions, what to eat, when to go outside, started feeling like privileges instead of basic choices. I remember my first week waking up in a bed that wasn't mine, in a room that wasn't my home. The little comforts I had spent years collecting were gone. In that moment, I knew I was no longer in charge of my own life. The hardest part is that you adapt because you have to. You stop arguing about what's for dinner. You stop asking to go for a walk. And in the process, a small part of you begins to disappear. It's worth asking yourself, are you ready to give up the small freedoms that make your life your own? 2. The reality of being forgotten. The feeling of being forgotten. One of the hardest truths is realizing that the world outside keeps moving on without you. My family reassured me they would visit often, and at first they did. But as the months went by, life got in the way. The visits became less frequent. The calls replaced the visits. Holidays were the hardest. I would find myself sitting alone in the common room, watching the door, hoping today would be the day someone remembered. It wasn't that my family stopped loving me. It's just that when you're not a part of their daily life, it's easy for them to assume you're fine. The longer you're in a nursing home, the easier it is for people to forget just how much you still need them. I remember holding my phone one evening, wanting to call my son but not wanting to be a burden. I put the phone down, and that's when it hit me. This was my new reality. Watching the days go by, hoping to be included. No matter how much your family loves you, once you are out of sight, it is easier than you think to become out of mind. 3. The erosion of purpose. The loss of a sense of purpose. At home, I had responsibilities. I had hobbies. I had a reason to get up in the morning. Even small things, watering my plants, making my own coffee, gave me a sense of purpose. In the nursing home, those daily rituals vanished. Meals were made for me. Cleaning was done by someone else. My plants weren't mine to care for anymore. At first, I thought it would be nice to finally relax. But after a few weeks, I realized the days felt endless, stretched out with nothing to do but wait. I saw it in the other residents too. I remember George, an 84-year-old carpenter. At home, he was always fixing things, building little projects. Here, there were no tools, no projects. I watched as he slowly withdrew, his skilled hands now lying idle in his lap. "I feel useless," he told me one day. I knew exactly what he meant. When you no longer have something to care for or work toward, life starts to lose its color. The mind slows down and the body follows. It's important to ask yourself, what gives my life meaning right now? Because once you move in, fighting to hold on to those things can be a daily struggle. 4. An unexpected decline in health. Health can decline faster. Before I moved in, I was doing well for my age. I had little routines that kept me moving: grocery shopping, stretching, walking around my house. I was maintaining my strength. But in the nursing home, everything changed. Meals were brought to me. If I needed something, I could just push a button. What I didn't realize was that the less I did for myself, the weaker I became. My legs grew stiffer. Getting up from a chair became a chore. The muscles I had spent years maintaining were disappearing faster than I ever expected. I saw it happen to others too. People who walked in on their own 2 feet were suddenly relying on wheelchairs. My neighbor, Alice, was lively when she arrived. She took daily walks, but after a few months she started using a walker, then a wheelchair. One day she told me, "I feel like I aged 10 years in just a few months." That's exactly what it felt like. When you stop using your body, you start losing it. In a place designed to make everything easier, it's easy to forget that movement is about survival. 5. The loss of privacy and dignity. The loss of privacy and dignity. I didn't fully consider how much privacy I would lose. At home, I had my own space. In a nursing home, privacy is a luxury you don't always have. I felt like I was constantly being watched. Staff coming in and out, scheduled checks, and shared common spaces where you're rarely alone. Even simple things like getting dressed or using the bathroom often required assistance. I know they were just doing their job, but it is not easy to accept help for things you have done independently your entire life. Dignity is a hard thing to lose. When people knock but don't wait for an answer. When you're spoken to like a patient instead of a person. When your day is dictated by a schedule you didn't create, it changes you. You start to feel less like yourself and more like just another name on a list. It's important to be prepared for how much personal control you may have to surrender. 6. It's harder to leave than you think. Leaving is not as simple as it seems. When I first moved in, I told myself it was temporary. I thought if I didn't like it, I could always leave. What I didn't realize was how hard it would be to get out once I was in. My house sat empty. My children, wanting to help, started selling things they thought I wouldn't need. When I brought up the idea of returning, they hesitated. "Are you sure you can manage on your own?" "We just want what's best for you." And then there was my own physical decline. After months of living a more sedentary life, I wasn't as strong as I used to be. I wasn't as confident in my ability to live alone, and that fear kept me stuck. That's the part nobody tells you. Moving in feels like a reversible decision, but for many people, it isn't. The nursing home slowly becomes your entire world. The outside life you once knew starts to feel like a distant memory. The barriers to leaving, financial, physical, and emotional, can be harder to overcome than you ever expect. Looking back, I don't regret growing older. I regret believing that a nursing home was my only option. I walked in expecting comfort and safety, but I found a world that slowly took away my independence, my privacy, and my purpose. This does not mean that all nursing homes are bad. Some people genuinely need the level of care they provide. But before you or a loved one makes that decision, I urge you to think carefully about what you might be giving up. If I could do it over, I would have fought harder to stay in my own home. I would have explored every option for in-home help that would have allowed me to keep my freedom. The life you have today, your routines, your independence, your choices, is precious. It is worth holding on to for as long as you possibly can. Thank you for listening to my story. This is a difficult topic, and my heart goes out to everyone navigating this decision. If you or a loved one have faced this choice, I invite you to share your experiences and wisdom in the comments below. If you feel comfortable, our community can be a powerful source of support and shared knowledge. If this video was valuable to you, please give it a like, and subscribe to the channel for more content that informs and inspires. Thank you for your time,